And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy, Will Dickinson. And look at Baxter. He's hopping in early and often here. Say hi, Baxter. Look at Baxter. He's ready for this episode of CBB Talk. I'm ready for this episode of CBB Talk. We've got a lot of action, especially last night, with some big time games, some big time performances, and some notable results. And a 1 seed has gone down in the conference tournament already. That happened yesterday. We got to go talk about the last 2 days and then preview what we got going on for Wednesday tonight, because tonight's very good. Thursday's kind of shitty. Thursday's a shitty day, but it's okay. It's okay that Thursday's shitty. We got a really good slate ahead, so I'm gonna try to get this out so you can watch it. But if not, you can watch it on Thursday and be okay. I don't know what I'm doing British. All right, Monday, Duke survives NC State on the road pretty comfortably. They let DJ Burns cook. Probably smart by them. DJ Burns is kind of trash. He had 27, but Roach had a good game. McCain was really good in that second half there. Flip. Sean Stewart's got a lot of PT recently. He's been looking really good. Shout out to the Dukies, Blue Devils. They're 7th in the net. They're 9th in my rankings, and then they have a date with Carolina on Saturday in Cameron for a share of the regular season title if they win. If they lose, UNC wins the ACC outright. We could see a third matchup with them in the ACC championship. We'll see. But these two teams right now have been on different levels compared to everyone else in the ACC. And Duke especially has been playing really good basketball. I think they're showing their rotation. They're without Caleb Foster. And they've been playing really good with him. Obviously, Jeremy Roach has stepped up. Duke's been looking really good. Baylor survives Texas in the first half. Texas shot the ball insane that first half, and I called it at half. I said that Baylor is only down 8 after Texas playing their best half of basketball maybe all year. I think Baylor can come back and win this game. They ended up doing that. Dylan Dessou did go out with an injury, so we'll see how severe it is. I'm not sure. He was out for the rest of the game, only played like 10 minutes in this one. Baylor, led by Jalen Bridges, had his best game of his career, 32 points for Jalen Bridges. He's been really good this year, better than last year for sure. And Ray J. Dennis had another really good game. I think he had 8 assists, 19 points. He's been one of the best point guards in the nation, and especially recently as Baylor, I was a little down on Baylor. I got Baylor ranked 11th in the nation. That's where they are in the AP poll. And Ray J. Dennis is the reason why I've been, kind of back on Baylor, is because he's been a reliable, trusty point guard play. And Jacoby Walter didn't have an amazing game in this one, but he still had, I think, 15 points, got to the line a lot. And I mean, yeah, I think Baylor had double the free throw attempts as Texas, but you're gonna expect that a lot of times on your home court to get more calls. They were more aggressive, and Texas didn't play a great second half of basketball. But let's get into yesterday, Tuesday, because that was such an amazing day of college basketball. Let's get into it. Florida took down Alabama. Bama's defense is the worst. They might have the best offense in the country, but they damn sure have top 5 worst defenses in the country. If you just took Alabama's defense with Virginia's offense, we would have an 0-31 team, because they are that bad. Florida scores 105. That's back-to-back games. Alabama's allowed over 100 points on the road. I moved Florida back into my top 25 at 24. Walter Clayton had a good game. Will Richard had a go in. Will Richard's kind of been a little quiet of recent, 23 in this one. Bama just doesn't guard. I've been Alabama now for a while. They're not in my top 25 going in this game. They're definitely not in my top 25 after this game. And the thing is with Alabama is I think they can win a first-round game. They play really good against weaker opponents, but they struggle against good ones. I don't think they have a great win outside of home all year. Their best is, I think, at Mississippi State. I think they beat Auburn at home. They beat Florida at home, but there's not been a great team away from Coleman Coliseum. They lost a home game to Tennessee. And look, I think they beat a worse team in the first round, but I can't trust them to make a run in this tournament, mostly because they're not going to be able to shoot 40% from 3 for 3 or 4 games in a row. It's just not realistic. They're gonna have a bad shooting game, and they don't guard well to stay in games. Alabama last year was their year. I picked them to win the national championship, and this year they're just not as good defensively at all, and they rely they've always relied on the 3-point shot, but this year they have to score damn near 95 points to win games, and that's just not a healthy. It's not a healthy way to win games. I think Kentucky's is somewhat similar, but their defense is better, and I think they're just more talented. So I'm kind of at Alabama, and I'm a big fan of Florida, so I think they have really, really good potential. Clemson beat Syracuse. This really just, was the dagger in Syracuse's heart there. If you won this game, you have a little breathing hope of being an at-large. They're going to have to go on a big run in the ACC tournament now. PJ Hall, I think, had almost 20 in that first half, finishes with 25 there. He'll be in my finals for ACC Player of the Year, I believe, as we start doing that next week. I'm so excited to do this next week. My conference, like whatever. I don't even know what you would call it. My conference awards is coming next week. I'm excited. I think I did it last week. I gotta go look. I'm pretty sure I did it after the conference, before the conference tournament. But we'll see. I'm quite excited for that. I think it's gonna be. It's always my favorite series to do on this channel. And PJ Hall, I think he'll be a finals for that Player of the Year in the conference. He's been amazing, and Clemson's going back dancing after, I think, barely missing it last year. A one seed did fall in the conference tournament. An big upset. Eastern Kentucky, who was the 1 seed in the A-Sun, loses at the buzzer to Jacksonville. The A-Sun's wide open. Lipscomb also lost, who I believe was a 3 in that. And these games are played at the home stadium. So Eastern Kentucky, you had a home game against Jacksonville. You lose. Shout out to the Dolphins. They go and now they're going to go play Stinson in the semifinals. That's a big game. Maybe they can make a run and get to that conference championship. And who knows? Maybe we could see Jacksonville in the tournament. There would definitely be a 16, but look, you just need a chance, right? Tough. Eastern Kentucky season's probably over now. They probably won't be in the NIT because they got rid of the automatic bid for winning your regular season. So it sucks for Eastern Kentucky, but you can't lose that type of game at home. And look, the March is here, and crazy stuff are already happening in conference tournaments. And this is before next week, where it's the big conference tournament week. Senior night in Chapel Hill, probably RJ and Armando's last game there. They destroyed Notre Dame. They win by 33 there. Just a good win for Carolina, and they could have got caught lacking a little bit. Looking forward to Duke, but they stay focused, get a win. They have a big matchup with the Blue Devils on Saturday. We had Providence spoil Ed Cooley's chance to get revenge. They don't. Providence gets a much needed win. Dev Carter had 24. The game of the night was Purdue, Illinois. I actually forgot that I had Peacock. I think we got it for that NFL game. We had like a 3-month plan, so it's running out soon. But I totally forgot I had it. So I was like, oh shoot, we had it. So I watched the second half in this game. I didn't watch the first half. Maybe that was the reason Illinois lost. Maybe I jinxed them. Look, Purdue is a simple team. They run a little high-low action. They get Zach Edey the ball, and either he's going to go up with it or kick it out. And Illinois just doesn't match up well with Purdue. They don't have the size. Coleman Hawkins having to guard them is really a problem. And look, I thought it was back and forth. Illinois just couldn't close it out down the stretch there. And Purdue played good basketball. Lance Jones hit a huge corner 3. I think TSJ had or was it Domas that had a big and one? One of them did. Domas was pretty solid down the stretch. Terrence Shannon wasn't his best. And then, Braden Smith hits the dagger there. Big win for Purdue. This team's a juggernaut. They are. And then the real question is, can they get it done in the tournament? Because right now, obviously they've proven they're a good regular season team now, like 3-4 years in a row. But this is the year where you gotta at least make a Final Four. If you lose in the first or second round, Purdue, well, I'm assuming they're not going to lose to a 16 seed. If they lose in the first round or second round or third round, Sweet 16, then it's a little concerning. But a really good win here. I dropped Illinois to 16th, and I keep Purdue where it is. That's a really good win. Obviously, UConn has a tough challenge tonight. I guess when my parents are home. Good win for the Boilermakers. Illinois dropped them to 16th. Purdue stays at 3. They could go up, though, because 2 tough challenges for the 1-2 teams in the country tonight. I think both of them are going to win, but one of them could easily lose. I say it's about a 40% chance one of them loses, a 40% chance one of those top 2 teams lose tonight. Texas Tech, nice win on the road there. You're close to my top 25. Auburn destroys Missouri. Missouri hasn't won a conference game. Missouri went from winning a game in the NCAA tournament haven't won a game in SEC play. Rough year for Dennis Gates. I don't think they'll fire him. Gotta give him another year. They literally won a conference game or a tournament game, but rough year for the Tigers. They're bad. They're just not good. Dayton destroys St. Louis. They score 100. I got Dayton back in at 25. Deron Holmes had a good one there. The Flyers should be, I'm sure they're safe for the tournament. Kansas beats Kansas State on senior night. They wore the Reds. I like the Reds. I do like the Kansas Reds. I think they're very sexy. Kevin McCullough, 19. Dickinson was solid. Elmarco Jackson getting good minutes on the bench. And then Nick Timberlake, 18 off the bench. So I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing for Kansas, but they just got 19 points off the bench, which is 18 points. I think Timberlake had 18, but if you're getting that, Kansas can make a run. I'm not a big believer in Kansas, but it's Bill Self. It's Kansas basketball. You can't doubt them. I got Kansas. What did I move Kansas up to? Kansas is now 13th in the country. Not where Kansas wants to be, but we'll see them in Big 12 tournament, and they have a big game this weekend. I believe it's in Houston. That's going to be a great one. Nevada's at Boise State. Oh, Nevada was at Boise State. My bad. Nevada, I've been banging this drum for a little bit now that they're one of the most underrated teams in the country. 6 straight wins now for the Wolfpack. They go in and beat Boise State in a place that's really hard to win. McIntosh was that 26 off the bench for McIntosh. Just a really, really good win there for Nevada. Yeah, McIntosh, 26 off the bench, went 6 for 6 and 3. Jared Lucas had 19. Blackshear's back from injury, which is really good to see. He only had 13 in this one. But him being back, Nevada's at full strength there. They end up getting a win, and they only allow Danglehart and Max Rice for 30 combined and really limit Omar Stanley. I really like this Nevada team. I think they're one of the most underrated teams in the country. They've kind of just gone out under the radar of all those teams in the Mountain West. I got Nevada up to 20th in the country, 1 spot behind Utah State. I think they're the best 2 teams. I had Boise State ranked. They dropped them out. I got only 2 Mountain West teams ranked, but my screen what the heck just happened? Okay, we're good. But I think Nevada is criminally underrated. They're playing really good basketball. I think they have experience. Did Nevada make the tournament last year? I don't know if Nevada did make the tournament last year, but they're back this year. And I think they can make a run in this tournament. I think they can get a 6-7 seed range. And obviously, I always say it depends on what draw you get, but I really do like the Wolfpack here. Boise State should be good, but you don't want to lose that game at home. And the Mountain West tournament, that's gonna be a gauntlet. It's gonna be fun. Because when you know when the Mountain West tournament's being played, it's getting played in Las Vegas and Thomas Mack. And know who plays in Thomas Mack? That's UNLV. UNLV has won 10 out of their last 11 games. They upset, I don't know if this really upset. They go beat San Diego State at home 62-58. UNLV, they've kind of gone under the radar this year. They beat Creighton early in the year. They have 3 quad 4 losses. They have a lot of quad 4 losses. And what's that? So yeah, UNLV. They've been flying on the radar all year. I think they can make a run. Obviously, I think if you go look at the odds, UNLV is like 3rd or 4th in line to win the Mountain West tournament, and that's because one, it's getting played at their home stadium, which is I would say it's an advantage. I don't think they'll have like the student crowd or anything, but it's in a familiar building, familiar city. You don't really have to leave home, which is big. And also, they're playing really good basketball recently. I don't think they can really build in that large resume. They would have to make the championship of the Mountain West tournament. I think they have a chance. But you never know. It's good to see UNLV basketball, be respectable again. San Diego State, San Diego State has to be in and out every week of the rankings. They'll be in, and then they'll lose next game, and they'll be out. Then they'll win like 2 in a row. I'll put them in, and then they'll lose next game. They're weird. They're not an elite team. They really aren't. And you had a bad game from Jalen Ledee in this one, and it's almost impossible to win if he doesn't have a good game. So yeah, the Mountain West is very interesting. They won't be set. I think they're going to be 5 bids. I really do. I think you got Utah State's going to make it. San Diego State's going to make it. Nevada's going to make it. I think Colorado State will make it. And then you got I don't think New Mexico makes it. I really don't. And yeah, I would say Boise State makes it. No New Mexico, no UNLV. I think 5 or 6 is what's 4 for 100. I think it'll be 5 or 6. If it's 7, miracles would have to happen. But I'm saying 5, maybe 6. But my guess is 5 for the Mountain West, and that's still an amazing year. The Mountain West has had that reputation not being able to get it done in the tournament, but we saw San Diego State make the national championship last year, so it kind of shut down those rumors. But they're gonna need to have a good year this year to avoid those overrated allegations, which maybe they're valid, maybe they're not. So that was all the action from the last 2 days. I guess what else happened is Dartmouth is unionizing. I don't even know what that really means. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a college basketball fan, not like a lawyer or anything. But it was interesting to me, and then they go beat Harvard and Dartmouth's dog shit. So shout out to Dartmouth for getting a win. Maybe that was what they needed to get a win. I think that was the last game of the year, and they're done because they're bad because they didn't even make the Ivy League tournament. But they ended the year in a bang, which we can say that. Let's look ahead to these next 2 days. I mean, really, we're looking at tonight. So this is gonna be a quicker episode because I want to get it out because of all the action. Nova at Seton Hall, big bubble and bubble matchup there. Seton Hall needs to get this win on the road. I think a loss here really would push them a little far out of the tournament. Villanova, I believe, is on the right side after that win over the weekend at Providence. If they can get a win at Seton Hall, that might be a lock for the Wildcats. I don't know who they have this weekend, but I think it's an easier opponent. So this is kind of their biggest game left. I mean, maybe they have. It's either they have UConn or some shitter team. I'm gonna go look right now. Oh no, they have Creighton. They need to go 1-1 in their next 2 games. I think they need to win this game because then they have home Creighton. So yeah, this is a big game. I think they gotta go 0-2, 14 losses, probably 15 losses. I don't think you get in. So I think you gotta win this game if you're Nova. Let's see. We got, more conference. We got the NEAC, I think, is going on. We got probably more, I think, Sunbelt, NEAC. Yeah, we got Sunbelt, NEAC. Anything else going on today? A lot of NEAC action. Big South tournament. Yeah, Big South and OVC. The OVC starting. So that's today. So no Sunbelt actually today. Houston's on the road at UCF. Look, UCF isn't a great team, but they've beat some teams at home over this year. They've beat Kansas at home. Let's see if they can go beat Houston on home. I don't think Houston loses this game. I think they'll win. But I could see it being close here. Let's see if it could be a little, trap game, I guess, for Houston on the road against a respectable opponent. But it's Houston. I think they win. Jamal Shead has been so good. LJ Cryer has been very good as recent as well. They're my number 1 team in the country. They're the polls. They beat number 1. They're in the polls team in the country. They are number 1 team in the country. They are the computers number 1 team in the country. Houston right now, I think is playing better than anyone else in the country. That's a 7 o'clock game. 7 o'clock, Northwestern, Michigan State. Kind of a bubble on bubble action. I think Northwestern will be safe, but they're 9.5 point. Michigan State's 9.5 point favorites. What? Is it like no boo booey or something? How are they 9 point favorites? That makes no sense to me. But I feel like that's a little high for Northwestern. But well, I don't know. Michigan State needs a win here. Loss here, Michigan State's, I believe, would be on the wrong side. They're kind of in a similar spot to Villanova. I think Michigan State, they both are 17-12. They are in probably pretty much identical spots. Tennessee's at South Carolina. That's a really, really good game on ESPN2 at 7. Obviously, Dalton Connect and Tennessee, they're coming off a win at Bama. Now they got to go and play a really good South Carolina team on the road. I was giving South Carolina some fraudulent allegations, about a week or 2 ago. They've proved me wrong, got some big-time wins. This would be a real prove me wrong moment. South Carolina already won at Tennessee earlier this year. They're going for a season sweep now. That would be huge for the Gamecocks. I think that could bolster them almost into my top 10. It's going to be tough, though. Since that game, Tennessee's probably played like the best team in the country, or obviously a top 4 team in the country since that game. I don't think they've lost since. So time to get a revenge. I think they get that. And I believe Connect went off in that first game against South Carolina. I expect the same thing, but with some more help from Zakai Ziegler, and I do. I really like the way Tennessee's playing. FAU on the road at North Texas. Watch out. FAU don't want to mess around, lose that game, and really get yourself in that bubble. We always thought this would be the game of the day, and maybe it still is the game of the day. UConn's at Marquette, obviously a top 10 matchup here. It just loses a little bit of that firepower matchup without Tyler Kulik. But Marquette, handled their business well. They didn't get the win, but they played decent without him and Oso against Creighton, and now they get the chance to host UConn. I think they can win this game. They're going to have an amazing game from Cam Jones, and I'm assuming Oso Ighodaro is going to be back from this one. He was sick and out last game, but that was now, 4 days ago? So I think he'll be good to go, and they will need him in this one. But yeah, Cam Jones obviously has to be off. Joplin's going to have to get a good game. Stevie Mitchell is going to have to be on his best because UConn is just a wrecking ball with Cam Spencer, Tristan Newton playing like one of the best players in the nation, Karaban, Stefan Castle playing his best basketball, Klingon playing his best basketball. I think UConn's going to go in and win this game, but I said it was 40% chance that one of those top two teams lose, and I think this one is I'm going to say this one's 70-30. I'll give USF like a 10% chance to win, so that would equal about 40 with my math. This is a really good one. Obviously, my last time I made this when these two teams played, my title of the video was these two teams headlined the weekend. And that game didn't really live up to the hype. It was a blowout on UConn's end. I don't think it will be a blowout on this one. This should be a really good one on FS1. And Marquette, Marquette can get the job done without Kulik, but it's tough to believe without your All-American guard. BYU's at Iowa State. This is one of the best two teams in the Big 12 going at it. BYU, they on a 2-game win streak. They're playing good basketball. They're coming off, winning at Kansas, and then I believe they got a home win over was it Texas Tech? Or was it TCU? I can't remember, but it was one of those teams. Now I'm gonna go check, because what if it wasn't one of those teams? What if I believe it was TCU? Was it TCU they just beat? This would be a real tough if it wasn't TCU. Okay, it was. It was TCU. They're coming off a win against TCU at home. They're going into Ames and Hilton. They're not going to win. They're just not going to win. I feel really confident. Iowa State hasn't lost at home all year, and these two teams play dramatically different. Iowa State's a slow team, defensive oriented. Will take their time on offense. Will wear you down. And they don't have a singular guy. And that's the same thing with BYU. They don't have a singular guy either. But BYU wants to shoot a lot of threes, get in transition, get shots up as much as possible, play fast. So we'll see what team can get that way get the game in their pace. That could determine the winner, but Iowa State at home, I think they'll be able to do that and win. And then, yeah, that's really it. Really nothing else today, but that's a solid day of college ball. We got some ranked on ranked matchups. So I'll have the top two teams in action on the road. Could be interesting. And then Thursday we got some Sun Belt action, some more MVC action. The West Coast Conference tournament starts. Patriot League, Horizon, MVC, Atlantic Sun semifinals, Patriot League. We got a lot of good stuff for conference tournament wise. And then, but I don't think there's any big major games like Colorado at Oregon. Washington State plays Arizona's on the road. Yeah, kind of bad. There's a lot of conference tournament action on Thursday. And then, yeah, Friday we got our last regular season weekend. It's crazy. Think about that. The season's coming to the end, but also it means the best time of year is coming. So gotta look at the positive side. Thanks for watching this episode of CVB Talk. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do your thing because I'm trying to do mine. That was the stupidest thing I've ever said. All right. Peace.